Hello everybody, it's me Magnus here, and welcome back to Buried. Now, quick forewarning here. I probably will be putting age restriction on this because I'm not exactly sure how things are going to go down, and I will be placing age restriction on the previous video as well. Because basically, from what I can tell, if you've seen the last episode, you'll probably end up knowing that we might be getting into some pretty heavy stuff. Okay, just throwing that out there real quick. But yeah, let's go over our options from last time. The blunt truth: you and 59% of players told Dennis he'd probably be fine. Slowed them down. You and 35%ers sided with Amy on pulling the hydraulic door. Wow. You and 31% of players gave the gun to Marcus. Yeah, honestly, probably wasn't that a good idea, but like, he had gun experience, obviously. But here, no. Alright, Murder and Mercy. You and 58% of players left Marcus alive. Yeah, okay, that's pretty close, but yeah, so that was in the majority. Now or later, you and 32% of players used your ammo and took extra shots at the creatures. Yeah. But now we know that it may or may not work. Well, is my audio okay? Yeah, audio's good. Alright. Alright. I have my coffee and my water. The ride up the elevator is tense. I take a series of deep breaths, doing everything I can to stay in control. Amy has gotten back to her feet, but her head is pressed against the elevator wall as she suppresses a series of sobs. I find myself trying to remember the way those creatures looked, but my mind seems to shudder at the effort. I have seen something that is impossible, a mockery of what I know. Of what I know is real. This fills me with a terror that dwarfs anything else I have felt since discovering the facility. I try to focus my mind on something else and remember Marcus' threats. I wonder if we'll see Marcus again, I say, mostly to myself. Do you think Marcus got away from those things, Amy asks? See, here's the thing, is that one of those things literally just bailed right towards Marcus. Literally right towards him. Actually, I just thought of something. Is there... Oh, you can reset your game. Alright, I just want to see real quick if it was possible to, like, have an auto blur, because I won't be able to blur out my video, or maybe I will, I'm not sure. Okay. I sure hope not. Probably. I don't think he did. I'm just gonna say I sure hope not. Me too, she says, looking at the ground, her arms folded. So I say, how did you end up here? She gives a nervous chuckle and shrugs. I used to work with the Pentagon. I was some pretty upper echelon stuff, whatever, that I still can't discuss. I assume this place is even more upper... I don't even know how to pronounce that word. I said, this place isn't even on the same scale, she answers. My other job was a cakewalk compared to this. Then why, say, I ask? Because the money is ridiculous. I have a 13-year-old daughter already talking about Harvard. You do the math. Upper echelon? All I can think of is echelon. Harvard, that's ambitious. Any other kids? Any other kids? No, just one. Her dad split on us when she was 3. I never remarried, so no siblings for her. I may have only gotten one, but the one I got is amazing. Amy pauses before continuing softly. What if I never see... Her voice breaks off, the words too terrible to say. Her eyes fill with tears. The elevator comes to a stop. The slight ding of it interrupting the moment. Amy hastily wipes her eyes, and we waste no time in getting back inside the command center. Interesting. Actually interesting. Okay, so what do we got here? I raided the rifle suddenly, certain that there are more of those creatures waiting for us in the hallway of the second level, but the way is clear, allowing us to haul ass to the command center. Once again, I find myself staring at the screen that shows my ruined worksite. Okay, Amy says, typing commands rapidly. It can't be that hard. I keep peeking over my shoulder, my senses feeling as if the monsters are sneaking up on us, mere inches away. I then think of Dennis and wonder how he is faring back on level 3. Is he safe? I look back towards the screen. I look back to the screens and see that Amy has finally found what she was looking for. A prompt on the screen says override of hangar doors and All level 3 locks requires clearance code. Amy types in a number with shaky fingers and the screen goes black for a moment. The moment the words override confirm come up the screen, Amy jumps up from the chair and heads out of the room. We have to be quick, she says. We have exactly 20 minutes to open up those hangar doors. What happens in 20? They probably lock back down. The locks will kick in again, she says. Security measure. I couldn't do anything about it. I follow her out of the command center and bound back down the hallway toward the same elevator that brought us here. Amy punches the elevator button and the door slides open. We're taking the same elevator back to the biochem room, I ask? Those creatures are still down there. It's the only way back down. The other way is blocked by the hydraulic doors we pulled. Hopefully the creatures left. Hopefully. Neither of us say anything else as we share a look of immense dread. We step back in the elevator and head back toward the biochem room on the 3rd level. But here's the thing, that it seems like those things were able to make it through the hydraulic doors just fine. Like, they can bend reality and stuff, but like, I'm actually genuinely curious, like, if that hydraulic door is still even active. Anyway, let's continue. Yep. As the elevator doors open, we peer out, looking to see if the creatures are still in the area, but it's all clear. When Amy looks to me, her eyes are clear and strong. Marcus wasn't entirely wrong, Amy says, as we start walking back towards the hangar door. About what, I ask? About how I'm partially to blame for this. Why would you be to blame? Like, you're one piece of the cog, like, or you're one piece of the machine. It would have happened without you. Some of the things we do here, it's scary. We should have known that one day something like this would happen. Everyone here with knowledge of what goes on in level 3 is to blame, she says. It's a highly advanced research facility, I say. Doing amazing but risky stuff. So yeah, you're partially to blame by just working here, but I can understand the dedication. So why don't you tell me a bit about what does go on level 3, I ask. Are you familiar with the Large Hadron Collider in Switzerland? Actually, yeah. I've heard the phrase, but that's about it, I say. It's a powerful particle accelerator, she explains. Right now, they're using it to try to create what's called dark matter. It's theorized that this dark matter actually makes up the majority of the universe. But parts of the universe, very different from ours, my word. My guess is that people at the LHC will probably create their first dark matter particle in about 2018 or 2019. Hey, it's 2019 now. Still waiting on that. Here in this facility, we were able to create one almost 10 years ago. It was the key to our research. What does this matter do? Does this have something to do with those things? That's a better question. Well, we still don't know all there is about dark matter, or other matter we have yet to identify. These creatures could be made of it, or maybe they're some even more exotic matter. We just don't know. If dark matter is responsible, there are no real answers to have. I scratch my head. So you're saying this dark matter helps with what? Opening up other dimensions or something? That's the theory, she says. During the point-to-point transfer, the subjects are gone for about 3 to 6 seconds. There's no way to see or measure their presence, but they exist somewhere. From what we can tell, they exist in a kind of void. What is that place like? Have you done this with people? Have you done this with people? We send human subjects through. Almost all of them have returned successfully. Almost? I'm making an involuntary... Okay, grimace. Almost, yeah. There was one man, Dr. Kana, who didn't return. We don't know where. She trails off, taking a moment to collect herself. Sorry, I ask. I say, feeling my mind start to bend inward again. So we continue to walk between the silos. We walk past the area where we left Marcus behind, but he's long gone. Maybe he found a way out. I realize that we're walking very close together between the silos, perhaps trying to create the illusion of safety. We reach the exit connecting to the hangar doors where Dennis hopefully still is. My guts clench and my heart hammers in my chest as we open the door and walk through. I lift the rifle, but at first it seems that there is nothing waiting for us, and that's when I see the glowing, hulking shape to my left, closing in fast. Crap. Coffee sip? Oh, yeah. The creature is about 10 feet away and coming in quickly, so I do the first thing that comes to mind. I drop to the ground, making myself a smaller target, and raise the rifle. I'm not sure if I should just unload on the bastard or try to be choosy with my shots and weaken it, or at least slow it down. See, it's clear that we can't kill these things. Like, literally, we shot and unloaded into some of them, and we just didn't even get it. Unload the bastard, try to be choosy with my shots, and weaken it. Shoot to weaken, I think. My shots cause the entire milky white frame to jerk to the floor. It flounders, its ghost-like tentacles writhing with rage as it cries out at me. It seems to turn and jerk away, parts of it appearing and disappearing every few feet. It moves down the hall and out of sight. I look quickly around for others, but there is only Amy. She looks at where the monster went with wide eyes. Her face is pale and wonder if, like me, she's able to feel her mind trying to retreat. Come on, I say. Let's find Dennis and get through those hangar doors. Amy glances at her watch and nods. We're already down to 6 minutes. For freak's sakes. We turn towards the hangar doors, and I'm a little disgusted with myself because the bloody scene that so shocked me before now seems mild. Amy goes to work on the computer console on the side of the doors. She starts punching in keys before saying, "This is going to take some time." "I thought you already unlocked it," I asked. "I did," she says. "But for this door, there's a security permission I need to hack. Marcus would have known how to do this." She trails off, and I decide to let her work. Suddenly, something slams into me. I feel my feet leave the floor, and I'm literally thrown across the concrete. I look up in time to see one of the creatures apparently in no hurry to attack me. Again, focusing on Amy instead. She's not armed. I need to come up with a plan to get this thing away from her so she can focus on getting the doors open. It raises one of its flickering appendages, making me certain that part of its makeup is pure light and energy. I could easily take a shot with my rifle, but my mind goes to how much remaining ammo I have. The only other thing I can think of is to get it to chase me and lead away from somewhere. See, the bullets don't really do much. For all we know, we could shoot at and distract the monster and run. I think that's the best idea. "Hey," I yell, "right here, come get me. I'm the one who shot your buddy." It turns to me, and again I'm faced and staring at something that has no business being in this world, in this reality. Its body gives off a short glow to the central part, a bulbous core that is branched off into 2 humps, very much like a spider. Again, I sense that this visual information is not accurate, but it's the best my simple mind can do to make sense of this impossible creature. It starts lurching towards me and lets out a shriek of agony that makes my ears feel like they'll explode. Now that I'm sure it's coming after me, I take off running and head into another hallway we haven't been down. I find myself in an industrial-looking area and am pleased to find that the monster has followed me through. That's something you don't hear every day, that you're actually pleased that the monster's following you. Gotta stay hydrated. There's a lot of, reading actually does take it out of you. That's interesting. Okay. The room seems to be an assortment of old pipes and tanks. I assume some of them run further down into other areas of the facility. With the creature on my tail, I dash into the maze of metal, hoping to lose it. It's definitely having a harder time squeezing through than I am, and that slows it down. Of course, the room is not a cage of any kind. The thing is still hanging towards me, shredding through the pipes as it rages. I notice that sometimes it is breaking the steel girders, but other times it seems like it's somehow merging or changing them. Pipes that were separate were now connected together in a way that makes my head hurt. I finally get a good amount of distance between myself and the creature. I think it's lost my trail. I need to get back to those hangar doors. There's not much time before they close, but if I make a sound, that creature could be on my heels again. See, we had 6 minutes, and then we went through there. Oh, no. See, it doesn't really matter because she can get them open and, I don't know, hide and escape quietly. I feel like I did something wrong. I take care to stay silent, twisting myself around more pipes and making my way back towards the door I entered through. The creature doesn't seem to pick up on this. I see it's glowing back as I come around. It lets out a static scream that makes my insides feel like jelly, but I don't even look back. I slide quietly through the rusted obstacle course and tiptoe back to the hangar doors. Okay. Alright. Are we too late? I feel like we're too late. I burst back into the large area and see Amy still working on the computer terminal by the hangar doors. Okay, we're not. You okay? I ask Amy. I can clearly see her battling for control of the facility's steel determination wins, and she gives a grim nod. Any sign of where Dennis went? I asked, hoping she hasn't noticed his body anywhere. No, she replies. It's then that I realize I have no idea how many rounds I have remaining in the rifle. This isn't a model I'm familiar with outside of some deer hunting. I'm not much of an expert on firearms. Still, I'm able to locate the chamber easily and see that there are only 2 rounds left. I suddenly curse myself for being too trigger happy earlier. How are we on time? I ask her. 2 minutes. I'm going as fast as I can, she says. Amy does her best to focus on the keyboard, but there's still no sign of Dennis. Before I have time to look around, a screeching sound erupts from the other end of the room. I bring my rifle into a shooter stance and turn around. With the hangar doors right behind me, no sign of Dennis, and closing window of time, I have to be confident. Yet, when 2 monsters come around the corner, my body wants to shut down. The appendages seem to jump in time and space, reaching out for a split second independent of the bodies and then disappearing back to where they came from. It turns and screeches at me, its glowing tentacles sneaking out of its body. My knees tremble uncontrollably. Behind me, Amy shrieks. I feel myself losing control, my mind sliding into the abyss of insanity. I pull myself back from the brink. I've got to stay in control. Turn away, shoot them. I feel like we're gonna need these bullets. Not to mention we just spent all that time sneaking away. So there's technically 3. Turning away ain't gonna do anything. But then shooting them would use the last 2 bullets. Gotta slow them down. Even if the friggin' hangar door closed behind us, we could stop them. I step away from Amy and the hangar doors and towards the monsters, ready to defend her. I ready my rifle, but the creatures waste no time in making that jerky motion towards me, and there's a sharp pain in my chest as it collides with me. Or through me, it's hard to tell. My instinct is to try to grapple or hold this thing down, but then I realize I don't even know if that will work. Try to get away, try to grab the creature. I want to say try to get away, because if that thing is like burning through you, like if it can pierce through you that easily, and it's made of pure energy and light, you're not really going to be able to touch it, so try and get away. I figured I'd rather not try to learn about the physical nature of this thing right now. I tuck and roll away from it, then stand up to face it. With a scream of defiance, I raise the rifle and put it around its core. The shot lands dead centered in the light inside the flicker almost violently. It falls back against the wall, issuing a hiss out of its telltale static noise. It then jerks away and retreats, at least for now. Another terror appears out of nowhere, screaming at me with a high-pitched whine. It bounds forward, charging in its strange, spastic way. Ugh. I aim the rifle, intending to take this one in the core too. I take several shots, but it's still coming at me. As it slams into me, I pull the trigger again and realize my rifle's now empty. On contact, the wind is knocked down me and lunges. Okay, neither of these things are alarming. The fact that the beast is now on top of me. Its exterior is like a seashell that has been pounded to the surface for so long that it has lost all edges and ridges. But the grip it tries to catch me with is pure violence. I feel those light-soaked appendages start to wrap around me. I raise the rifle knowing it's empty, but hoping it uses a wedge to push this thing off of me. The way the monster is erratic. One moment I feel weightless, another I feel like I'm going to be crushed. I push upwards on the rifle. The monster budges a bit, but almost seems to absorb it, warping it in its grip. I see the core of the body, a spider-like shape, connect to the rest of the thin white strings of tissue. I'll be dead within seconds unless I can. Okay. Release rifle and punch it. See, but it's light, so I don't know. If it's light. See, if you punch it in the, see, Amy needs to work on those doors, otherwise it's going to be for nothing. Just release the rifle and punch it. I do my best to give one last punch, but my hand melts through. I curse myself for wasting so many bullets earlier. Oh no. These bandages wrap around my left shoulder and I feel a white-hot pain fill my body. Tentacles burn as I realize that some are actually going through my shoulder like a kid pulling apart the stitches of a doll. But then I see the creature extend its tentacles in aggravation while making that static screeching sound. The creature flickers, releasing me suddenly. With a shudder and cry of desperation, I roll away and see that a large hole has appeared in its luminous core. The creature disappears into thin air and reappears a few feet from me, retreating back towards the biochem room. Amy looks over at me from her terminal and hangar doors, looking petrified. Dennis stands several feet away, holding a shotgun. He walks slowly towards us and is clearly just as scared and out of sorts as we are. "You okay, boss?" he asks. But his eyes aren't on me. They're looking to the creature, trying to understand exactly what he's just seen. About 15 minutes ago, I heard the doors in that maintenance room unlocked, Dennis says, pointing to the room I tried to bust my way into earlier. Amy says, when I did the override up in the command center, it unlocked all small doors down here, including that maintenance room. I went inside and hid, Dennis continues. And while I was waiting for you two to come back, I found a massive trunk. There are a few guns in it, so I grabbed this one, he says, patting his shotgun. I'm glad you're safe. I care about him more than guns. Thanks, boss, he says. Me too. She doesn't break eye contact with the panel. Almost done, she replies. Suddenly, without warning, a shot ricochets off the wall behind Amy's head. Startled, we look around, confused. Did Dennis's gun go off? When another shot blasts near us again, we all drop to the floor. I look around, wondering who or what could possibly be shooting at us. Those creatures don't do anything that sounds remotely like gunfire. And then I see him. Marcus. I should have killed him when I had the chance. He has a rifle and is walking towards us, an insane look in his eye. You all deserve to die, he screams, unleashing another round that I hear whiz by my head. Dennis doesn't hesitate. He stands up and shoots at Marcus, causing him to retreat. How much longer, Amy? Almost there, she says quietly. She takes a few final key passes and says, done. The door opens in the noise of hydraulics and a whoosh of air. With Marcus pinned down by Dennis' gunfire, we start moving towards the doors. At that moment, another creature jerks into existence around the corner between us and Marcus. Shit, Marcus says, and starts unloading into it, but he learns the same lesson we did. This only slows the creature down. Marcus gives us one last look and then turns and runs off in the other direction. Dennis, Amy, and I climb up ahead through the doors, moving on nothing more than adrenaline. I see her look longing at the maintenance room Dennis took the shotgun from. You get into that hangar, Dennis says. I'll get some more firepower. Satisfied with the plan, Amy heads toward through the door. We scramble inside, finally inside the hangar. Dennis approaches from behind, holding several guns and looking like a kid who grabbed an armful of Halloween candy. Amy reaches out for the 9mm with one hand. Dennis turns to me and holds out a shotgun and a handgun for me to choose. Both look deadly. The shotgun looks more powerful, but the handgun will probably be more precise. I don't know if these are timed or anything, but also I need to catch my breath as well. See, I am about like accuracy most of the time, right? I'm not a big fan of shotguns and stuff, but like, you know what? No, he seems good with the shotgun. That's his baby. I'm gonna take the handgun. He took the handgun. You select the handgun I select the handgun and am comforted by the way it seems to fit perfectly in my shaky grip. There's more creatures coming, as many as a dozen. They are floating down the hall quickly, their tentacles slithering. The way their light seems to mingle together is almost beautiful. Close the door, I yell at Amy. She dashes to another console mounted on the inside of the hangar doors and tries desperately to close them. It's not working, she says with tears in her eyes. This terminal is disabled. Dennis looks through the open doors, readying himself to shoot the first monster that nears us. Should we try to slow a few of them down or just run for it? He asks, his gun at the ready. Let's run for it. We need to save ammo this time. Good idea, says Amy. With that, we run towards and sprint out onto the hangar floor. Okay, I need to take a friggin' second to breathe. Get some water. Okay. I said hangar, they actually meant hangar. The room is enormous, so large that to call it a room seems silly. A large concrete floor stretches out below an expansive lofted ceiling. The area is mostly empty except for one side, which has rows of metal barrels. Back on the far walls is a lit area that seems to expose more rooms, labs, and machinery. Also in the rear of the hangar, I can see some kind of chamber or control center. Dennis and I follow Amy across the hangar floor. Behind us are a series of rough, slithering sounds tell us that the creatures have made their way into the hangar. From somewhere up ahead, a loud buzzing noise sounds out. It reminds me of the slight buzzing noise I've heard in the forest, the noise that got me into all this trouble in the first place. I look ahead and see that the far back of the hangar, a bright red light is flashing. There's a small hatch or door below the light. That hatch is open and I can see a shape inside it. I can barely make out the figure of a man standing there holding an industrial microphone. And as soon as I see him, I hear this huge amplified voice. It bears down over an intercom system and he sounds pissed. I don't know who the hell you are, he says. This is a government facility on lockdown and there are protocols to shit. I assume the curse coincides with the exact moment he sees the creatures. They are making their way through the hangar doors. There are maybe 20 feet between us and the creatures. I act instinctively, firing twice as the handgun comes alive in my hand. One shot goes into the core of one of the monsters, causing it to jerk backwards. Another shot slows down another. The accuracy I get with the 9mm is amazing. Amy and Dennis take the cue to start firing as well. The floor becomes littered with swirling white fluid from the wounded creatures' bodies, but they're not slowing down. The alarm keeps shrieking behind us, and when I turn to see if anything has changed back there, I trip over my feet. I hit the ground hard in an almost comic fashion, sliding several feet across the floor. From the ground, I see we have managed to turn back 4 of them, but I also see that my estimate is a dozen is off. There are at least 20 of them. They are sick, dim light, sinister and gloomy. Their appendages seem to bind together as they come forward. My only hope of survival is that the man in the far doorway has somehow shut that hangar doors. His voice seems blaring over the intercom again, broken by the booming noise of the gunfire and what we are laying down. Run here towards the isolation chamber. I'm not sure how much time we have. I realize I can sprint ahead of Amy and Dennis, or I can hang back and give them cover. Give them cover on, yeah. Go inside, where that guy is, I say. I'll make sure we don't have any of those things right on our tails. I'll hold them back for a while. I know it sounds macho, but it also seems like the right thing to do. I have to at least try to give some, I can't friggin' read. Give some time for a chance to escape. So Amy and Dennis run through the doors. I blast the next thing that I see moving. All I get for my troubles is that static like hissing, high-pitched whistling noise. I'm able to beat them back a bit, forcing them to scatter. Each flicker of light is a small victory. If nothing else, I'm buying Amy and Dennis time. When I'm certain there is nothing more I can do, I turn and run. I hustle quickly, catching up to Amy and Dennis, who stop and turn to provide me with covering fire. There, Amy says, pointing to the small door the man was standing earlier. The swarm is less than 15 feet away now, so fierce that they are pushing through one another to get to us. I raise the handgun and fire, taking my time to aim. I hit one of the spider-like parts of its body. I fire again, this time taking one in the core. I place 2 more rounds into this creature, eventually causing it to move backwards. We are in the middle of the hangar floor now, with the isolation chamber ahead and monsters behind. Beside me, Dennis also fires. The kick of the shotgun jolts him, probably a result of him being weak from the blood loss. I probably should give him the handgun, actually. I thought of that the second I did it, he's actually hurt. Should I have given him the handgun? His shot lands true, though, causing a jerking stumble and a flickering of its light. We're almost in, Amy yells, as we get close to the door, and we hope will save us. Tell Dennis and Amy to go in first. Yeah, of course. Because the 9mm also has more ammo capacity, probably. Get inside, I tell Amy and Dennis, motioning for them again with my gun. I open the door and give Dennis a push toward it. He resists, more eager to try taking down another of the beasts before making it into safety, but he eventually gives in. I wait a beat to make sure Amy is inside too. I fire off a few rounds on the creatures that are still hanging towards us, hoping to slow them down. When Amy and Dennis clear the door, I nearly dash inside, but then feel something hot seep into my back. Roger, Dennis yells. The pain in my back is so immense I barely notice the fact that I'm being lifted from the floor. I look down and see that one of the creatures is using its flowing arms to grab me by the waist, its tentacles wrapping around me. It lifts me into the air and if presenting me as a trophy to its friends. I try to focus, attempting to angle my arm in a way that will allow me to aim the handgun and place a bullet in its body. But shaking me violently, its body parts appearing and disappearing in a way that makes no sense. Another oddity of its structure. I can literally do nothing more than hang there like a rag doll, hoping to be saved. As it continues to hoist me up, screeching its approval, Dennis comes back out of the room and fires off a shot. Man, get in the frickin' safety room. The bullet catches the monster and on the underside of its core, sending it backward and causing it to freeze for a moment. It releases me and I hit the ground, dropping my gun and again finding myself unable to breathe. I feel slightly dizzy, but that phase when I see Dennis is still standing outside the door. He's firing into the beast like a madman and doesn't see the one on his left coming. See. No. Okay. Push him out of the way. See, I'm on the floor right now. Yeah, I feel slightly dizzy. See, it fades. Hit the ground, dropping my gun, and find myself unable to breathe. Yeah, just... see... I might be close enough to push him out of the way, but that would just put me in the same scenario again. But that's like... I think it'd be easier to yell at him. Hearing my voice, he turns and looks directly at me. Oh no! Oh no! I screwed up! Oh no! Dennis tries to raise his gun, but is knocked away by one of the tentacles. No! A second tentacle strike. So for falling. A third tentacle wraps around Dennis' forearm, and I see it squeezing, tightening instantly. The tip of the appendage passes clean through his hand, its blood-soaked tip pointing out through his palm. Dennis' face grimaces with pain as he tries to wrench his arm free, but the creature's tentacles has his hand speared like a nail through wood. In a moment of dark clarity, I realize I can free him with a clean shot to the monster's tentacle, but I will likely mean blowing Dennis's hand off. Dennis, I yell over the creature's high-pitched attack noise, can you get free? I have a shot. Maybe. No, Dennis. Grasps at the creature, tossing him around. Don't shoot. I can get free. I can't tell if he's right, but the other monster is starting to encircle him. I need to act fast. Okay. Really? That is freaking... I don't know what to do. Because, see, it's actually like one of those things where... like, I just don't know what to do. Oh, man. Okay, I had to take a minute to breathe there, but like, see, they're starting to encircle him. Like, if I shoot off his hand, he's gonna be royally pissed, but like, see, if they're encircling him, and even if he does get free, he's basically gonna be like melded with the floor, basically. So. shotgun of coffee. Yep. If I don't take the shot while I have it, they're going to kill him. Yeah, in the last-ditch effort, I try getting a good shot on the monster, but there's none. I'll hurt Dennis even worse if I try. I take aim, fire off a shot. The shot lands perfectly as a result. A lot of blood and a scream from both Dennis and the creature. Dennis' hand disappears into a spray of red. The monster's appendage simply fades away. It literally seems to wink out of existence. The creature screeches while Dennis hits the floor, wailing in pain. The reality of what I've done set in and nearly paralyzed me. Get him, Amy says. I'll cover you. I nod, still reeling from the sight of what I have done to Dennis. I stumble out of the door. Amy is true to her word. She fires a few rounds at the approaching monsters. As I make Dennis, I grab a hold of him with my good arm. I drag him backwards as fast as I can, nearly falling down the process. When I reach the doorway, Amy reaches down, helps me drag his body the final few feet into the room. She manages to pull off another shot, and when I see what she hit, I see another dozen or so of the monsters. Dennis is writhing in pain. He looks at me. He is sneering. "You crazy asshole," he screams. He shudders violently, sweat and tears coursing down his face. Amy slams the door behind us. Finally, we are inside the room, hopefully safe within what looks like an isolation chamber of sorts. Along the frame, a little electrical lock keeps the beeps as the door is secured. End of chapter 4. Great. So we're going to get to see our results now. Self-control. You and 49% of players shot to weaken the creature, not to kill it. Yeah, exactly, because we don't know if we can kill it even. Keep them at bay. You and 41% of players distract the creatures instead of shooting it. Yep. Wait, that's actually a very low percentage. Weapon of choice. You and 57% of players took the handgun instead of the shotgun. Yeah. Because, honestly, I'm more of a handgun guy. I don't like shotguns. Judgment calling. You and 57% of players disobey Dennis, wishes to not shoot, causing him to lose his hand. Wow. So I was actually in the majority for, like, a great deal. Actually, I was in the majority for half of it. But, like, 41% of players distracted the creature? That's, like, not a lot. Like, if you shot at it, like, we don't even know, like, it would still follow you. And we'd just be down a bullet. That's just all it is. And chances are we could have lost Amy from that. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Anyway, whatever. I guess that's pretty much all I can do for this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and yeah, go ahead and check out the channel. If you guys want to see the other parts, they're also up on there. I'm trying to keep the channel as organized as possible so you guys can find stuff easier. And yeah, I'll see you all in the next one. Later.